family appreciates you all being here, showing their support. I got to give a thanks to the Facebook group, the Don Lewis Cold Case Files group. If it wasn't for that group, we would not be doing this right now. For those of you that have not seen that group or heard about it, there's 3,300 members in it, and it's 24/7 researching documents, videos, scouring the internet for anything to do with Don Lewis. We have quite a few people up here. Caitlin here, Caitlin Statil, and we have John Phillips, who is the attorney for Anne McQueen and the three daughters, and then you have Anne McQueen, Linda, Gladys, the mother of the daughters, Donna, Gail, and Finley. Finley's with John's over here. I didn't know Don Lewis before this Tiger King documentary came out. I saw the documentary, and I just could not believe that there was a family out there that had a father that went missing, and when I was looking on the internet for information, I couldn't find any. So I reached out to Nosy Wren, who I've done other cases with for the last 4 years, and we started a group, and from there things just went crazy really fast. The group, if you've seen a documentary called Don't Mess with Cats, the group is kind of like that, where, I'll say Cheryl McCollum, who's the director of the Cold Case Institute, said, you guys are like don't mess with cats, or don't mess with bigger cats. But we just dig and dig and dig and find everything we can. I'll give you an example. The septic tank. There's a theory about the septic tank. In the documentary, Carol stated that the septic tank was put in long before Don went missing. Sheriff Chronister said the septic tank was put in years later. So we really wanted to know, when did the septic tank get installed? So we started digging. We ended up finding out that the permit for the septic tank was requested on August 4th, 1997. Don Lewis was last seen by Anne McQueen on August 15th, 1997. On August 6th, the first load of dirt was brought out for the septic system. We have the receipt for that dirt. On August 14th, another load of dirt was brought out for the mound of the septic system, which is the last thing that they do. I talked to the company who installed it. They said the mound dirt was delivered on the 14th, and we have that receipt from August 14th, 1997. They said the mound dirt was delivered on the 14th, which means that septic system was fully installed on the 14th or the 15th at the latest. And they told me if there was ever a time to dispose of a body in a septic system, that's the time to do it. It would be just empty. And I asked her, I said, isn't there a top on it, or, you know? She said, yeah, but there's like an 18-inch clean out that you can open up. So we put that to rest. We know when the septic system was installed. We know that it's a possibility. We don't know if there's anything in there or not, but it needs to be looked into. But that's kind of how the group operates. At a certain point, we kind of hit a dead end where we really need someone to come forward in the case that has information. And there's a lot of people out there that have information, but they're scared to come forward. There's people who have animals, exotic animals. They're scared if they come forward that they're going to lose their animals somehow. They're worried that if they come forward, that they might get charged with a crime. And they just don't want to do it. They're worried that they will be targeted, they will go broke defending themselves, or there's just a whole list of things. So the group decided, and the family decided, that we should get a reward fund together and see if that would help get someone come forward. Another thing that we did was we talked to Caitlin over here. She'll come up and give you the details, but we talked to her also, because if someone was involved and they have information, they need an attorney to work with them to get them a deal. So she'll explain that. The reward, which you can see up here, and I'll let Donna, she'll go into more details on that, but I want to make something really clear. Yesterday, Carol made a statement saying that I'm guessing I'm the anonymous donor for the 100K reward, because nobody would put up that much money to find out what happened to Dawn. She guessed wrong, because her reward has nothing to do with this reward. If she has $100,000 out there, you're looking at $200,000 in reward money. You're looking at a criminal defense attorney over here that's ready to make someone a deal if you have information. The number, you can see it there, it's 646-450-6530. That's the tip line. If you do have information, come forward. I'll let Caitlin fill you in on what they're going to do. Thanks everyone for being here. To the Facebook group, this family loves you guys. I love you. Caitlin, have it.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Statiel. I have some cards up here if anyone needs spelling or information on my name. I am an attorney at Carlson, Meisner, Hart, and Hazlett, and my firm has offered to represent whoever has information on this case pro bono. As Ripper has said, there's tons of possibilities on what happened here, but as Sheriff Chronister has made clear, they don't believe that this was carried out by a single person, that it had more than one person involved in the case. So we are willing to represent anyone pro bono who has information, who possibly was involved in the case, and can put this case to rest and close the case out. My cell phone number is on my cards, as well as if you contact the tip line, you'll be put in touch with me. We're happy to assist. We can't guarantee any outcome, of course. That lies in the hands of negotiations with the state attorney's office and what information is provided. However, we're not seeking any compensation. We will aggressively defend you and the case with any information that you can bring forward. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer questions after everyone is done. Ripper, is there anything else you would like me to address? Okay. Again, my name is Caitlin Statiel from Carlson, Meisner, Hart, and Hazlett. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them after we complete here. My cards are up here. I can be reached by cell phone or the tip line. So, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Donna Pettis. I'm Dawn's oldest daughter. We had lost all hope of ever knowing what happened to Dad, but through the efforts of Ripper Jack, this warrior for justice, and his team, hope has been restored. We owe them a great deal of gratitude. I'd like to welcome aboard John Phillips and his law firm. After weeks of interviewing attorneys, we finally found someone that we believe can handle this case. And we're looking forward to working with them. As you see behind me, the billboards, we worked for weeks raising the money. And then at the end, an anonymous donor came forward guaranteeing the $100,000. And for that, whomever that person is, we are so grateful. We're hoping that with these funds, someone will have the courage to come forth and provide the information necessary to solve this case. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gail Rathbone. I'm Don's youngest daughter. And we're just so grateful for the outpouring of support we have received from everyone due to the coverage of our father's mysterious disappearance in the Tiger King series. Amazingly, our little family tragedy has become your tragedy. Our search for closure and truth has become your mission also. You know, my father, he was a quirky, intelligent, unique man, and we all know by now that he was not a perfect man. But do only the perfect among us deserve justice? We're asking that anyone with vital information please come forward so that progress can be made on his case. Years ago, when my sister Donna called me to tell me the devastating news, I was shocked. I still, to this day, miss my dad. I love my dad. And for 23 years, I've gone to bed every night knowing the only chance I have of seeing him again is in my dreams. For 23 years, I've woken every morning to the heartbreak of his strange disappearance. But hopefully, with all this help we now have, one day soon, we, and you too, will know the truth, and we will all finally know what happened to my dad. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Phillips, and I have the honor to represent this family. Finley Williams is with my office, criminal defense, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. I'm board-certified in civil trial litigation out of Jacksonville, Florida, licensed in Florida, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, New York, and D.C. Dr. Cornel West once said, "Justice is what love looks like in public." I wish I had said that. I've stolen it since then. I repeat it over and over again. And it's one of the single best quotes about justice I think I've ever heard. Dr. King had a bunch that are fantastic. But justice is what love looks like in public. And our mission as a law firm, our mission as people, every single day is full justice. I say over and over again, justice is spelled one way, but it's defined subjectively. It's defined as criminal justice. It's defined as civil justice. It's defined as shutting people up sometimes. It's not a last offer. It's not a monetary award. It's not just an arrest. It's full. But Dr. West didn't stop with saying justice is what love looks like in public. He had another line that I think is particularly important today. And he said, tenderness is what love looks like in private. I'll repeat that. Tenderness is what love looks like in private. So justice is love for all the world to hear, but one-on-one, it's a thing of tenderness, gentleness, kindness. Last night, we all had dinner together, a family dinner. There were great-grandchildren of Don Lewis. We pulled out his yearbook. Miss Gladys and I went out on the porch and talked about Don and some of the lies out there. I come to this as an open slate. I come to this trying to find a level of reason without prejudging the case. And I've spoken with his daughters and with his family and his longtime assistant, Anne. They're amazing. They're the definition of tenderness, the definition of love. There was a quote in Don's yearbook that said, "Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none." It almost makes me emotional sitting up here because it's so apropos to ultimately what would do him in 23 years ago. Loving all, trusting a few, do wrong to none. Prophetic words. And here he rests all these years later for his name to be used with such inconsistency, such hate, even his final death to be characterized, whether true or untrue, in such things involving words we can discuss later, but as bad of a death, as dishonorable as a death as one can imagine. Otis Redding sang a song. He didn't write it. Frank Sinatra sang it. A lot of people sang it. Try a little tenderness. And I don't know that I've seen a lawyer come up with a press conference and say, hey, let's try a little tenderness. Let's try reason. Because generally you announce a $150 million lawsuit and how we're gonna get justice and how we're gonna, make things right, and we are. All of that in time. But our office wants to invite reason, wants to invite civil conversation where it can be had, wants to invite justice, wants to invite somebody to call anonymous or not anonymous, let us know where Don lies, let us know what happened to him. So rather than getting up here and adding more sensation on top of sensation, we go back to Dr. West's words, justice is what love looks like in public. Resolving this case is in everyone's best interest. It's in Carol Baskin's best interest. If she cares about, and I want to believe you can't be married to somebody without caring about them. I've seen that happen. But I invite her to the table. I invite her to talk and let us know what really happened. More than invite her, we're going to serve her with a lawsuit. Now, it's not a lawsuit for damages, it's a lawsuit for equity. Equity means fairness. It also allows subpoenas and depositions, requests for production, interrogatories, things that a court can decide what happened and what lawsuits or lawsuit and who should be sued should come. It's called a pure bill of discovery. We have copies, spot on Friday. And we'll take questions about it after. But what we want to see most of all right now is to stop the lack of civility, stop calling this wonderful family names, stop reading things you wrote 20 plus years ago into a record, which we're going to use against you, by the way. Stop defaming people. Let's just figure it out. Let's get together and figure it out. And on a personal note, my wife's mother died Thursday. She told me to be here with this family. And as her mother passed away, she held her mother's hand. They sang psalms. They shared videos of grandchildren. Cheryl Warburton died with dignity. She died with family around. Whoever did this to Don Lewis stole that from this family. Stole dignity. Stole respect. Stole years of his life. And worse than that, now it's a matter of public conversation. I will ask one time for civility. I will ask one time that we come together to find closure of this whole thing. If that can't be done, I'm a lawyer. I sue people. We'll go that route too. But make no mistake, if the family's offer for civility is rejected, if the insults continue, our next step is to bring justice. Because justice is love. Thank you.
If anyone has questions, the family is not going to be taking any questions, but myself, I'm Jack. Some of you know me as Ripper. I'll take questions. John will take questions, and Caitlin will take questions. And you want to do them down here or stay up here? How do you want to do it? All right, so if anyone has questions, feel free to ask and direct who you're with and who you want to ask the question to, please.
John, I have a question because a lot has been made about the will and the signature on the will.
Right.
Tell me about that. What have you looked into? Are you getting handwriting analysis?
Certainly. So you'll see in our pure bill of discovery, there are 3 parties currently. One is Carol Baskin, who has information about all of this. One is a lady named Susan Arnoff Bradshaw. She was the witness on one of those wills who since recanted. We need to, again, I come at this with 30 gigabytes of information thanks to the Facebook group, with people submitting tips every day. I got off of HLN on gosh, that was yesterday, and the tip line immediately started ringing. But I try to start with a fresh slate. There's some very concerning things. I've held some of those documents up to other documents, and there's some concerns there. But we hope between Miss Baskin and Susan that we can get answers to that issue.
So, and I forgot to identify myself. I'm Jeff Patterson, Chandelier. There probably wasn't 2 or 3 people in the room other than the family who's at
Right.
What can you do that Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office can't?
So there's the criminal justice system and the civil justice system. The criminal has a different standard. They've got to make a determination whether to make an arrest based upon probable cause. That involves prosecutors. That involves some level of fluidity within a sheriff's office. That does not appear to be the case, which is why we filed a lawsuit to let a judge make determinations about what reasonable discovery is. Once depositions are moving forward, I think that can help a sheriff's office, a prosecutor's office, a judge determine things. So they worry about speedy trial laws and all of that. Once they file charges, they've got to bring them. COVID changes things. But because of COVID, we felt the pure bill of discovery was a way to go to get discovery, to figure out whether there's a crime here, whether there's multiple crimes here, whether it's torts, whether it's, it's a whole law school exam of trying to figure out what happened now 23 years later.
So are you satisfied, is the family satisfied that the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office has done enough over the years or is doing enough now in regards to this case?
I'm pretty sure the family's already on record saying they're not satisfied. I just started. 23 years is a long time. There's a lot of questions that I think should have been asked by now. They can do some things. And so, I can't correct the past. I can deal with the present and the future, and my dissatisfaction is almost irrelevant at this point.
So there's the investigation here and perhaps an investigation in Costa Rica.
Right.
Are you looking there as well?
Yeah, it's funny. A year and a half ago, I was in the home of, coincidentally, a former president, Nobel Prize winning president of Costa Rica. And so I know it pretty well. And we're going to take a trip down there at some point. Yes.
Since the document, has there been any real progress, either with tips or with the sheriff's office?
Yes.
Elaborate.
I mean, there's certain things, because we're going to be asking tough questions, that I don't want to give people the answers to questions before I get to ask them. But there's certainly new information. I've been in town since Friday, and I've been on the ground. We've investigated possible burial sites. We're looking. Information is coming, and that's kind of the point of why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it. It's I don't know if any of y'all had a press conference that a lawyer talks about tenderness and love. I don't know, maybe. But I really think if we all cared about Don, or we all cared about seeing what's right happen, we can figure this out. There's certainly rewards. There's incentives that unfortunately have to happen. And protections, there's swords and shields that we'll use. But I'm going to dodge your question publicly because I don't want to reveal too much information, but there certainly is new information.
And is there concern from the family over the aftermath of the documentary as far as this being made kind of a mockery and the songs, the parodies, the memes, everything that's come out?
There is, fortunately, the songs aren't about them yet. Right? Any songs we know of? Okay, good. Let's keep that way. And that's what I'm trying to do. I've heard it. It is what it is. What I wish is, and this is my invitation. This is, hey, remember when your little brother got mad and he hit the reset button? I'm little brother coming in here and say, look, let me hit the reset button. Let's figure this out. If you crave, and I mean anybody, if you crave more 15 minutes, you'll get them. But if you want to see Tiger King and all of that came with it result in justice, I think there's a big opportunity here to solve a 23-year-old cold case. The family dinner, think about your grandfather, your father, being rumored to have either been eaten by alligators, be under a septic tank of feces, or in a meat grinder. That is not, and it shouldn't even be tolerated. I'm not shaming reporting it. I'm shaming, why can't we just now stop and say, let's just stop that? Because it takes people to perpetuate that. Now, the fact is we're going to have to investigate that because I think there could be merit to some of those theories. Spoke to somebody the other day that indicated there might be merit to one or more of those theories. But again, and somebody that has something to hide may not want to go sit at a table and communicate. And that's what we'll determine first.
And I reached out to Carol when she called this press conference publicity stuff. Is that disappointing to hear?
There's nothing Ms. Baskin can say that's going to disappoint me. I've got to go to a funeral tomorrow. But this is real. And she can do what she wants. I invite her to pick up the phone. 1-800-LITIGATE. You'll have me on the phone within 30 minutes, except for probably tomorrow. Yeah, it is what it is. Any other questions? Or for anybody else? And we'll take one-on-ones if need be. We'll be here for a little while. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Post copies of